So first of all, hello, welcome to the Year 6 team. I hope your children are thoroughly enjoying we counted today, their first 12 days that they've had in Year 6. This is the Meet the Teacher presentation. It just gives you a brief sort of overview of the year and the things that are going to be going on, our expectations, and some other bits that are sort of unique to Year 6. So I am Miss Curtin. I'm the assistant head teacher, and I'm also the phase leader for Year 5 and Year 6, and I teach Cobra's class teacher.
Hello, I'm Mrs. Ailing. I teach Pythons. Some of you might know me as Miss Forsey. Obviously got married last year. So I'm Mrs. Ailing and I teach Pythons.
Hello everyone, I'm Miss Calder. I teach Vipers class this year.
And we're very lucky to have a dream team of TAs, which are Mrs. O'Sullivan, Mrs. Forbes, Mrs. Napoli and Mrs. Ford. Mrs. O'Sullivan's mainly based in Cobras, Mrs. Forbes is mainly based in Pythons, and Mrs. Napoli is mainly based in Vipers, and then Mrs. Ford will work across the year group as needed. So structure of the day.
So structure of the day, we start obviously at 8:35, we let the children in, they come in and they start with arithmetic in the mornings. We then take the register at 8:45. At 8:55, we then start our maths. We then start our maths lesson. At 10 o'clock, we then have whole class reading. And at 10:30, we then have assembly. That's only on Monday, Wednesdays and Fridays. At 10:50, we then have playtime. At 11:10, we have English. 12:15, we have lunchtime. 1:15, we have grammar, punctuation and spelling, otherwise known as SPAG, the children might say. And at 1:30, we start our foundation lessons, which you can find we do things like PE, art, DT, music, all the kind of foundation lessons. And of course, 3:15 is our new home time. Our curriculum consists obviously of English, which is reading, writing and SPAG. Our maths consists of reasoning questions and arithmetic, science, PE, PSHE, art, music, geography, history and RE, which we're going to go into a little bit of detail in a moment, computing, DT and French.
So this year we have rolled out a new programme across Key Stage 2 and it includes history, geography and RE, and it's knowledge rich, it's ambitious, and it means the pupils will learn a great deal about a selection of topics which all link both horizontally, vertically and diagonally. It has been designed by a very, very clever lady called Christine Council amongst her team, and she has a real wealth of understanding of these three topics, and her subject knowledge is fantastic, which means that she's able to make the links, which means the knowledge that the children acquire can be the retention of it and how much they remember is far greater because it is so well mapped out and the progression is really, really clear. The children learn all about their topics through carefully planned slideshows and the booklets which we've brought in, which are really high quality, great resources. They've got fantastic pictures and it's all pitched really, really well. So it's really inclusive for everybody in the classroom. And it's a real focus on key vocabulary and really opening up their repertoire of words. We will send this to you so you know what they're learning. And if you ever want to have a look through the books, do feel free to come to the classroom and you can have a look through the textbooks that we use. So the way that I'm just going to minimize this so you can see the way that the year is set out is that we teach history, geography and RE every single half term, and as you can see there are 6 different topics per subject that we cover. So at the moment we're doing ancient Egypt, rivers and Hindu story, and then after Christmas we'll do cradles of civilization, mountains and more Hindu stories, and then spring 1 we'll do the Indus Valley, settlements and living with Hindu traditions, and then spring 2 and so on. And these slides will be sent out so I won't go through it all of it, but it's a really, really high quality, and as teachers I think we've been really enjoying it, and the children have definitely been really sort of received it really, really well.
Okay, so educational visits and Spark Days. So obviously we try to organise as many Spark Days visits, everything that we possibly can to kind of enthuse the children and kind of get them excited about the topic. So this half term, we are taking the children to Paint Hill Park, which is on the 17th of October. Thank you very much to those of you that have got back already. We're kind of hoping to take them to a Hindu temple as well. So that's kind of on the cards, and obviously things like, you know, the residential at the end of the year, all that sorts of things, and further trips and visits will be added as the year progresses now that we're kind of doing different topics, so we will make sure they can
plan as we go, won't we?
Yeah,
We'll
plan as we go. Absolutely.
So assessment. So SATs is almost like the buzzword when children reaches year 6. However, all three of us, and it's always been the case at Grovelands, that their mental well-being and their happiness comes first. So as much as SATs is a large part of year 6, and it is kind of the milestone that we're working to academically, we still very much value as a priority their happiness and their enjoyment of being at school. So we're certainly not here drilling them like drill sergeants, but we are sort of ramping up the learning, especially come the end of autumn too into spring, just making sure that they feel completely ready and prepared, which they will do. So SATs are going ahead as normal. I know during the COVID years they didn't happen, but they are back. We had them last year. It normally is around May time, and I think this year it's going to be May the 13th, week beginning. Lots of parent information evenings will be coming your way nearer the time. It's nothing to get too stressed about at the moment, and we have reiterated that to the children. And if you have any questions, please come and see one of us and we can answer those for you. But we will be holding a parent information evening closer to the time.
Okay, so PPA, so all teachers are released weekly for the afternoon, one afternoon a week. Our afternoon is a Monday afternoon, in which the children are then going to be taught by Mr. Tuck, Miss Stillwell and Miss O'Sullivan, and it will be their PE afternoon.
So homework and daily reading. So also timetable rock stars, which I feel is quite important to touch on as well. So I'll start with daily reading. In year 6 and in year 5, we expect the children to still be reading every day. Now we give them an element of independence, which means that they can read on their own and they can sign their reading records themselves. We do ask that you try and read them at least once a week and make a comment, just because reading alone and reading to someone are two very different skills, and reading out loud increases their fluency. Also, it really helps them with their inference and retrieval, because after they've read you, a few questions about what they've read would be really great practice for the end of year 6 Key Stage 2 reading test. In terms of homework, again, we do up the ante somewhat. They need to be ready for secondary school. And as much as we are teaching them in year 6, it's also our job to make sure that they're prepared and ready to move on to their next education sort of milestone, which is secondary school. So homework will be given out on a Wednesday each week, and they can have up to 3 books. Sometimes it might be 1, sometimes it might be 2, but majority of the time it will be 3 books, and that will range from reading, maths and grammar, punctuation and spelling. It gets handed out on a Wednesday, and the children are expected to hand that back in completed on a Monday. If the children forget, because we know we are humans and sometimes we can forget things, and we're not robots, and we're very understanding about that, they get until the Tuesday to basically complete that undone homework on that Monday evening. Now I would say that's not the best way to manage their time, because if they're trying to complete all 3 books on one night, that could be quite heavy. However, if they haven't done it by Monday, it will get sent home. They'll have Monday night to try and do it again. And then if they don't have it on the Tuesday, it will be a reflection. And that's the same expectation across upper Key Stage 2. If your child struggles with any of the homework, please come and see us. We will be going through it step by step and making sure they understand the grids, they understand the pages. We'll make it really, really explicit to them what the expectation is. They have a copy of what the homework is on each week, which is stuck in their reading record. And we will also send a letter home via email and give them a paper copy as well, so that can be stuck on the fridge with a magnet or whatnot. But homework is not meant to be something that's really, really stressful. So a good half an hour, 40 minutes effort. And if they have not completed what they need to complete by then, please do come and see us, because like I said at the beginning of this presentation, their happiness and mental well-being is number 1. And then last but not least, their timetable rock stars. We are currently in high competition on timetable rock stars. We are classes against classes. Cobras, Pythons and Vipers are in a timetable rock star competition, so we are expecting all children to be on there 10 minutes every night. It can be downloaded onto an iPad, they can play on a desktop computer, and they can play on a phone. So really do please help us get behind the timetables. It really does underpin everything in maths and does increase their arithmetic sort of ability. So we're really hot on timetable rock stars at the moment.
Okay, expectations. So attendance. Obviously, please ensure that your child is to school on time each day and attends every day unless they are feeling really poorly. Attendance is expected to be higher than 96%. With uniform, please ensure they have the right school uniform every single day. That includes their PE days as well. They need to be reminded that any jewellery, including earrings, larger hair accessories, dyed hair, any shaved sections of their head, that's actually not permitted in school. And black trainers and branded socks are also not permitted. So please ensure they do have the correct footwear every day. And like I said, with the PE kit, it is obviously on a Monday afternoon for all cobras, pythons and vipers. So just ensure they have the correct kit.
Which is black shorts and our beige t-shirt. Sometimes we have some variations of PE kit, so we're hot on that as well at the moment.
Okay, Grovelands Values. So we have 6 Grovelands Values: kindness, respect, friendship, uniqueness, trust and determination. So we have these values across the school. We have postcards that we send home to recognise their efforts, and we really just try to kind of link back all their behaviours linked to our values, just to kind of create, you know, a whole school effort. We have values assemblies, and yeah, we just try to make sure they know those 6 values and are demonstrating them consistently.
So the behaviour system is something where we have values tokens. So for, like Mrs. Ayling said, any good behaviours, whether it's linked to how they manage themselves around the school and move around, how they treat other people, not only in the classroom, but out on the playground, how they're showing effort towards their learning and their independence. All of this links back to the values tokens, and they will collect these. And then at the end of the term, well, at the end of the week, the house captains will count them, but at the end of the term, we have a behaviour sort of values assembly, and the winning house will get a treat in school. So yeah, it's lots of fun, and they definitely enjoy collecting them. So concerns, if you're worried about your child, we do encourage them to try and speak to us. We try and be as approachable, and we're lovely ladies. So we hope that they would come and speak to us. We do have I wish my teacher knew boxes in our classroom as well. So if they don't feel they can come and verbally let us know what's wrong, there are lots of other alternatives as well as emotion charts in our classrooms, just to sort of signal that they need some extra support. We'd like, you know, talk to a member of staff, talking to you guys, and you guys coming in and letting us know and relaying the worries to us, or writing a note, and a trusted adult can then investigate and try and help them. If you have parental concerns, please firstly speak to the class teacher. We are the ones that spend all day with them, and if we can't help, then the next step is to speak to myself, who is the phase leader. And then if I can't help, the next step is then to go to a member of the senior leadership team. But hopefully most concerns can be dealt with by the class teacher, and we can all continue to have a happy time in year 6. So parent meetings, we do have parent evenings, and they are in the autumn and the spring term, and they come out via an online booking system, so do keep your eye out for that, and they're going to be face-to-face this year. And then those children who have special educational needs will also be invited to a pupil passport meeting every term to speak specifically about individual targets that are set for them, but you will know who you are, and I'm sure you'll get further communication regarding that. So that brings us to the end of our presentation. We hope we've given you a brief sort of overview of the year that your children are going to have. We do have lots of fun things in year 6. At the end of the year, we have Leavers hoodies, we have our residential, we have our Best Fest festival, and we have our end of year production, and there's lots and lots of fun things to come, but be under no illusion that they really do work hard, and we are always so proud of all year 6 children and the journey that they go on through this year, because as much as it's lots of fun, it's also they really do have to get their heads down and start to become a little bit more independent, ready for secondary school. So please keep communication lines open. Do feel that we are here. You can use the year 6 teacher email, you can come to the door, you can ring the office, and we will always do our best to get back to you as quickly as possible. If you have any questions and you feel happy to unmute yourselves, then by all means do so. I'm going to stop sharing my screen for now. Just so that then I can see you if you have your camera on, or if you want to put something in the chat, that's also fine. Yes, I'm definitely going to email the slides out. I will make sure Mr. Tuck gets straight onto that. What is expected of the children when they're in reflection? So reflection time is when children get 2 yellow cards, and 2 yellow cards are for low-level disruptive or unacceptable behaviour. So if you get 1 yellow card, you will be expected to spend 5 minutes of your break time with your class teacher, just to reflect and maybe have a conversation about why this yellow card may have come about. And then if you get 2 yellow cards, then that is a reflection. And the senior leadership team all take a rota, and that child will just be taken to whichever member of the senior leadership team is on reflection for that day. They will have 15 minutes to have a conversation, to reflect upon why they've ended up with the red card. It's certainly not somewhere where they get told off, and it's meant to be a positive sanction to allow them to think about where they went wrong and how they can improve next time they maybe are in that similar situation. So I'm just scrolling. What's the deadline and the process of applying to secondary schools? So the deadline, I think that normally a leaflet comes out from the office, and we pop them in our windows in the Pythons and Cobra's classrooms, because obviously Vipers is upstairs, so you wouldn't see it if we popped it in their classroom. We're not leaving you out, Miss Calder. Normally it is the end of October. So please, if you get the option to go and look around secondary schools, please take your child with you. We're quite happy for them to be picked up and brought back to school. I think it's important, because if they don't, if they're not happy, they're not going to learn. So they need to be invested in the secondary school as well as parents and carers. So yes, I will chase that up, and I will speak to the office, and we'll get some communication out to you. It normally comes from Surrey County Council, so we may be waiting on them, but I will chase that. That was a really good question. Thank you for asking it. Will you have any after school option to help children understand certain parts of subjects such as maths? At the moment, we don't run sort of an extra academic school club at Grovelands. It's not something that we would necessarily be adverse to, but it'd be something we'd have to look and just check we've got the space, the provision, and the need for it, if I'm honest. We do have a homework club. Those letters have gone out, and they were invite only, and they're for the children that we feel could do with the extra help. However, if spaces do become available and you would like your child to attend homework club, please let your class teacher know, so that if any children that have been invited don't want to go, there may be the option of that, just for some homework help. But at the moment, no, there are no after school academic sort of catch-up clubs. Oh, thank you. Someone has shared the link for secondary schools. When does that reflection happen? So the reflection, if the child gets the 2 yellow cards, or if the behaviour is really extreme, they will go straight to a red card. If that happens before lunchtime, the child will have the reflection that day. If the behaviours happen, for example, on the Tuesday afternoon, the next reflection available would be the Wednesday lunchtime. And that would be, I mean, obviously, you know, there are anomalies at times, but that is the general consensus around the school, that it will be the same day or the next available. Yeah, so homework club is basically where a TA will stay after school for an hour and will help certain people and guide them through the homework process. There are lots of different reasons why us as teachers invite specific children. Like I've said, please do speak to your class teacher if you'd like any further information. But at the moment, just due to numbers and ratios, it is invite only. But if we know that you're interested, if spaces become available, then we can at least then let you know. That's all the questions in the chat. Is there anything else that people would like to ask out loud or add to the chat? I'll just wait a couple of minutes or seconds, maybe. That's all of them. Okay, guys. Well, thank you very much for joining us. I hope that we've shed light on the fantastic year that Year 6 is. It's definitely, we call it the fun house. It is lots of fun. So thank you very much for joining us. And if there's any further questions, you know where we are. Miss Calder, Mrs. Ailing, and Miss Curtin, the Year 6 Dream Team. Thank you, guys.
Have a lovely day.
Bye-bye.
Bye.